During last summer's surge in protests against federal immigration enforcement, Trenton Barker lit a flare and threw it at a gate outside the ICE building in southwest Portland. A security company said the fire did $4,000 of damage. That night, federal officers arrested Barker from the crowd of protesters. Barker is one of more than 36 people who were federally charged after clashes outside the ICE building. So far, he is the only one to receive a sentence with any prison time.
I think you might look at this and say, the way this stuff was all sold last year about, it's close to an insurrection and it's rioting and it's so violent and out of control, we would expect heavier sentences if that were the case.
KGW has tracked the outcomes of 37 protest cases, with most people facing charges of assault of a federal officer or failure to obey a lawful order. The results? 26 people have pleaded guilty. Most of them received 6 to 12 months of probation and no time behind bars. 7 cases are still in progress, and 4 cases have been dismissed outright. Barker, facing an arson charge, was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Lewis and Clark law professor Tung Yin says the results show that both sides are getting something they want.
This is not unusual in terms of the way that criminal cases just sort of end up being resolved, particularly in the federal system.
A flood of guilty pleas means prosecutors can maintain a high conviction rate, and defense attorneys can feel satisfied that their clients avoid prison.
The certainty of a smaller amount of pain may be better than the uncertainty of either no pain or a lot of pain.
Some high-profile cases are still outstanding. Robert Jacob Hoops pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. Federal investigators said he threw a rock and hit an officer in the head and later used a stop sign to damage the ICE building. Investigators found and arrested Hoops through facial recognition tech and photos posted by the Oregonian and Reed College. He's set to be sentenced in June, and the U.S. Attorney's Office is asking for a prison sentence of at least 24 months. But Hoops and Barker's cases are outliers among the group. President Trump used the arrests from this group of protesters to justify deploying federal troops to Portland, saying the city was war-ravaged by domestic terrorists. A federal judge blocked the deployment, saying there wasn't enough evidence to support military intervention. Most of the Portland ICE protests were peaceful. Yin says the reality can't only be defined by the outcomes in court, but this trend of arrested protesters largely avoiding prison sentences says something.
We might expect that, hey, if it was that violent, that out of control, why would they be pled down to probationary sentences?